off to Africa, singing at the top of their lungs across the savannah, watching lions and zebras, witnessing the great wildebeest migration, in awe of nature's vast beauty. Then they head to the pyramids of Egypt. Sitting on top, watching the sunset, Carter suddenly recalls an ancient legend. He says the ancients had a beautiful belief about the afterlife. They believed that before entering heaven, the gods would ask them 2 questions, and whether the gates of heaven open depends on their answers. Curious, Cole wants to give it a try.
Have you found joy in your life?
Yes.
Has your life brought joy to others?
I don't know, don't think about how other people gauge,
The second question stumps Cole. He can't say for sure if he's ever brought joy to others. When Carter presses him, he brings up his daughter again. After divorcing his wife, he paid massive child support, hoping to stay close with his daughter. But over time, it dwindled to holiday visits and polite phone calls. Cole was devastated when he found out his daughter had a boyfriend. He had the guy investigated and discovered the boyfriend was bad news. For her own good, he objected, but that only pushed her further away. She ignored his warnings, married the guy immediately, and didn't even invite Cole to the wedding. But as a father, he just felt his daughter was too kind-hearted. She just didn't have the eyes to see the truth. And Cole's warning came true all too soon after the wedding.
First time he hit her, she came to me. I wanted to bash his brains in. She wouldn't let me. Said she loved him, said it wasn't his fault, he'd had a few drinks. She was the one picked the fight. Next time it happened, she didn't come to me. The ex told me. Nice to hear her voice again.
What did you do?
What any father would do. I took care of it. I called a guy who handles these kinds of things. Don't know what he said. Don't know what he did. All I know is he didn't kill him. And my daughter never heard from him again.
How did she react?
Called me names you wouldn't believe, and worse. Said I was dead to her. I'm not proud of everything I did. I'm pretty sure I'd do it all again. So, they don't let me into Egyptian heaven because my daughter hates me. Well, then I guess that's just the way it goes.
When his daughter's life fell apart, Cole's reaction wasn't to talk it out. It was to destroy. His way of protecting his daughter was pure primal instinct. His claim of no regrets is really a father's declaration of helplessness. We spend our whole lives loving others the only way we know how, even when that love has rough edges that cut both ways. They visit the Taj Mahal in India, and Cole suddenly asks how Carter wants to say goodbye to this world someday. Carter doesn't hesitate. Keep it simple. Just put him in his favorite coffee can and bury it somewhere with a beautiful view. So the next day, they head to China. Just as they finally reach the wonder Carter's been dreaming of, the assistant brings bad news. There's a blizzard on the mountain. Helicopters can't go up. The earliest they could try would be next spring. But these 2 old men don't have much time left. They might not even make it to next spring before ending up in that coffee can themselves. So Cole suggests they swing by Hong Kong instead. Carter's chatting with a bartender about Everest when a mysterious woman joins the conversation, saying Everest gave her an experience like nothing else. Carter asks if she heard the voice of the mountain at the summit, because he once read a climber's account in a book that described a sound like hearing the voice of God. Their shared love of Everest creates an instant connection. The woman hints that she has a room upstairs. Carter is surprised at first, then settles into calm, because he's finally found the answer he's been looking for.
I appreciate that. But to see...
She's a very lucky woman.
Well, I rather think I'm the lucky one.
Good for you.
Carter rushes to find Cole, desperate to go home right away, and he knows that woman was Cole's doing.
That was very clever of you, Edward. How'd you know I wouldn't go through with it?
I didn't.
They pack up and head home immediately. As the plane flies over familiar land, a heaviness settles over both of them. After all, every leaf eventually returns to its roots. In the car heading home, Cole suddenly notices this isn't the way home. The assistant claims they have to detour due to road work. But when the car stops, and Cole looks out the window, he sees they're parked right outside his daughter Emily's house. It was all Carter's idea. Cole is furious they went behind his back. He storms out of the car and lashes out at Carter for meddling.
What are you so afraid of?
Just because I told you my story does not invite you to be a part of it.
Oh, like the lady in the bar?
It's different.
Tell me how it's different.
Because it is!
How is it different?
You have no fucking idea who I am. I built a billion-dollar business up from nothing. Presidents have asked my advice. I have dined with royalty. And I'm supposed to make out like what? This trip was supposed to mean something to me? Like it was gonna change me? How did you see it playing out, Carter? I knock on the door, she answers, she's surprised and angry. But I tell her how much I love her and miss her. And oh, by the way, I'm gonna be dead soon, so I'm reaching out to you because I don't want to die alone.
Everyone's afraid to die alone.
I'm not everyone. This was supposed to be fun. That's all it ever was.
Cole tears up the bucket list right then and there. The meddling assistant gets dumped on the curb, too. Carter standing there in silence isn't emptiness. It's 1,000 unspoken words. He understands Cole's pain. He believes in their bond, and he quietly resolves to stay by his side till the very end, learning to be gentle with who you are, like 2 weathered trees in the desert. The wind may whip the sand between them, but their roots are tangled together deep underground. They'll fight, but they'll never part. Carter arrives at his front door. He reaches for his key, hesitates, then rings the doorbell instead. He puts his hands in his pockets, then takes them out again. He's nervous. He wants to surprise his wife, just like he did 45 years ago. The door opens. Neither of them says a word, but it says everything, because he never stopped loving her. Cole returns to his empty mansion. Pacing through hollow rooms, he puts on a tough front, but deep down, he craves a family. Carter reunites with his family, gathered around the table. They're laughing and talking, their hearts full of each other. But Cole's only company is loneliness, and a fancy takeout container he can't even get open. Carter rediscovers that spark from the early days, and slow dances with his wife in their cozy living room. Lonely Cole brings in a couple of companions, trying to fill the void, but he still ends up crying against the window. Carter's wife has a surprise for him. It's been so long since they've been intimate. Carter's as nervous as their first time together. He can't decide whether to sit or stand, but when his wife comes out in a new outfit, she finds him collapsed on the floor.
Carter!
Cole is in a meeting, completely distracted. His billions don't mean anything to him anymore.
Mr. Cole? You ever read the Divine Comedy?
His assistant rushes in, saying there's a call he absolutely has to take. Cole races to the hospital and learns that Carter's condition has gotten much worse. Carter's wife hands Cole a letter. It's one Carter left for him. Soon, Carter is prepped for his final surgery. He reaches into his bag and pulls out a piece of paper and asks Cole if he's still drinking that ridiculously expensive coffee.
Kopi Luwak is the world's most expensive coffee, though for some it falls under the category of too good to be true. In the Sumatran village where the beans are grown lives a breed of wild tree cat. These cats eat the beans, digest them, and then defecate. The villagers then collect and process the stools. It is the combination of the beans and the gastric juices of the tree cat that give Kopi Luwak its unique flavor and aroma. You're shitting me.
Cats make me do it.
They laugh so hard together, tears streaming down their faces. Carter pulls out the bucket list and crosses off "Laugh Until I Cry." It turns out Carter taped back together the list that Cole ripped up. Then he hands the bucket list to Cole. The rest is up to you now. You'll have to finish it alone.
I'm afraid I have to be.
Carter is wheeled into the operating room. The odds are terrible, but he still wants to take one last shot at life. Cole sits in his car, completely devastated, and opens the letter.
Dear Edward, I've gone back and forth the last few days trying to decide whether or not I should even write this. In the end, I realized I would regret it if I didn't. So, here goes. I know the last time we saw each other, we weren't exactly hitting the sweetest notes. Certainly wasn't the way I wanted the trip to end. I suppose I'm responsible, and for that, I'm sorry. But in all honesty, if I had the chance, I'd do it again. Virginia said I left a stranger and came back a husband. I owe that to you. There's no way I can repay you for all you've done for me. So rather than try, I'm just going to ask you to do something else for me. Find the joy in your life. You once said you're not everyone. Well, that's true. You're certainly not everyone. But everyone is everyone. My pastor always says, our lives are streams flowing into the same river towards whatever heaven lies in the mist beyond the falls.
Hello, sweetie. Hi.
Find the joy in your life, Edward.
Cole gets to kiss the most beautiful girl in the world. But Carter didn't make it through surgery. Cole personally delivers Carter's eulogy. He speaks about their friendship. This man he'd only known for a few months changed his entire life. Then he pulls out the bucket list and crosses off, do a random act of kindness for a stranger. Because without even trying, Carter had helped Cole find his way out of the darkness.
The last months of his life were the best months of mine. He saved my life, and he knew it before I did.
Not long after, Cole reaches the end of his road, too. His assistant climbs to the summit of Everest and places both their ashes together in a coffee can. At last, they complete the final item on the list. Witness something truly majestic.
Even now, I can't claim to understand the measure of a life, but I can tell you this. I know that when he died, his eyes were closed and his heart was open. And I'm pretty sure he was happy with his final resting place, because he was buried on the mountain, and that was against the law.
What is the meaning of life, really? Everyone has their own answer to that. The meaning of life isn't measured in years. It lives in those moments that make your heart skip a beat. This story tells us, make peace with those you resent. Because hatred is the cruelest prison you'll ever lock yourself in. Do that thing you've been dreaming about for 10 years. Because someday and never are pretty much the same empty promise. Love the people around you right now. Because the cruelest thing about goodbye isn't that it takes us away. It's that it erases every trace that we were ever here. The most beautiful thing about the bucket list is the truth it reveals. Leaving isn't the end. Being remembered is. Regret isn't the tragedy. leaving with regret is, don't wait until you're lying in that hospital bed to realize that the one thing you should have put on your bucket list all along was simply to live, truly live, every single day.